Is it time to quit government contracting? Nearly 30% of small prime contractors have vanished in the last decade, gone. And right now, I'm getting the same question from hundreds of contractors every single week. Abraham, should I quit? In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the Contractor Survival Test, 5 questions that will tell you if you should stay or walk away before you lose everything. Hey, if you don't know me, I'm Abraham, president of the Government Contractors Association. I represent over 3,000 contractors, and I'm seeing patterns that terrify me. Some contractors are thriving right now. Others are quietly going bankrupt. The difference isn't luck, it's positioning. Let me show you what's really happening in this market and how to figure out which side you're on. First, I understand what so many of you are feeling, because if you're struggling right now, you're not alone. The market is brutal right now. We've seen waves of contract terminations for convenience. Good contracts, performing well, just gone overnight. The fiscal year uncertainty means agencies aren't obligating funds the way they used to. Some of you have workers on standby not working, which means you're not making billable hours. No revenue coming in. You're checking sam.gov daily and nothing's moving. And here's the thing, it's not just one problem. It's a perfect storm of issues hitting all at once. Between payment delays, budget uncertainty, and policy whiplash, the stress is real. So yeah, if you're sitting there thinking, maybe this isn't worth it anymore, I completely get it. That's a valid feeling. But before you make any decisions, you need to understand what's actually happening in this market. Here's the first major problem you need to understand. Problem number 1, the consolidation crisis is fundamentally reshaping this industry. Over the past decade, the number of small business prime contractors has dropped by nearly 30%. That's not a recession. That's a structural change. Contract bundling is favoring larger firms, and it's getting exponentially harder for small businesses to compete as primes. The government is moving away from tons of small individual contracts and toward massive vehicles, GWACs, IDIQs, enterprise-wide agreements. What does that mean for you? You're competing for subcontractor positions instead of prime contracts. If you built your business model around winning small primes, that game is disappearing fast. This isn't your grandfather's government contracting market anymore. The entire procurement structure has shifted, and if you're not adapting to this new reality, you're already behind. But consolidation isn't the only challenge crushing small contractors right now. Problem number 2, let's talk about the compliance cost explosion that's hurting contractors. If you're working with the Department of Defense, CMMC compliance is now mandatory. Depending on your level, we're talking tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get certified. For small business operating on thin margins, that's devastating. But it's not just CMMC. There are new cybersecurity regulations, incident reporting requirements under FAR Case 2021-017, Buy American Act enforcement that's stricter than ever, and continuous monitoring requirements across the board. Every single year, there's another compliance requirement. And here's the brutal truth. These costs don't generate revenue. They're purely defensive spending just to stay in the game. It's like paying an entry fee that keeps going up while the prize money stays the same. So you have to ask yourself, can you actually afford to keep playing? And that's not even the biggest source of uncertainty. Problem number 3, the massive uncertainty that has everyone on edge. We've got the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, whose entire job is to streamline operations and eliminate what they consider redundant programs. And here's what should terrify you. DOGE isn't just looking at federal employees. Internal documents show they're analyzing contractor spending by category, building algorithms to identify which contracts could be automated, consolidated, or just eliminated. Your contract vehicle that felt safe is in a spreadsheet somewhere being scored for elimination risk. This is happening right now. Then there's the administration effect. Trump has publicly said he's firing a lot of federal workers. Fewer government employees means fewer people managing your contracts, approving your payments, fewer relationships you built over years. Agency priorities are shifting overnight. What was funded last year might not exist this year. And here's the crazy part. 23% of companies surveyed said they had no plans to change their strategy. That's either confidence or denial. But there's one problem that's even more dangerous. Problem number 4. The cash flow crisis is what actually kills businesses. You can survive a lot of things in government contracting, but you cannot survive running out of cash. Small and mid-sized contractors are facing devastating cash flow disruptions. Contract terminations mean immediate revenue loss. Payment delays that used to be 30 days are now 60, 90, sometimes 120 days. Let me tell you about Maria. This is not her real name for privacy purposes. 10-year contractor, woman-owned business, stellar past performance. Her contract was terminated for convenience, not for poor performance, just budget realignment. She made it 2 months paying her team out of savings. By month 3, she had to let everyone go. People who've been with her for years. And when new opportunities finally opened up, she didn't have the team anymore to execute. That's how businesses die. Many of you are suffering like that out there, not from bad work, but from a lack of cash flow. So if you're looking at all this thinking, this doesn't look sustainable, you're not wrong. These are real serious challenges. But wait, problem number 5, and this ties into everything, it's the shutdown reality. We're going through a shutdown right now. And even when it's over, the fact that they keep happening creates constant instability. At least 1 million contractor employees get impacted during shutdowns. Most won't get back pay. Federal employees are protected by law, but contractors, nothing guaranteed. Even after shutdowns end, you're looking at 30 plus days of cash flow problems. This isn't theoretical. This just happened. Here's what most people don't realize though. While some contractors are struggling and failing because of all these problems, others are crushing it right now. So what's the difference? Let's talk about opportunities because they're massive. The market itself hasn't disappeared. We're talking about a customer with spending power over $800 billion every year. That's not going away. Even with DOGE, even with cuts, the federal government still desperately needs contractors. They need advanced technology. They need specialized services. They need expertise. The difference is they're being more strategic and selective. Let me show you where the real opportunities are hiding. High growth areas are exploding right now, and most contractors are completely missing them. AI integration is happening across every major federal contract vehicle. The government is investing billions in artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation, and data analytics. Cybersecurity is a top priority with demand growing exponentially every year. If you're positioned in these areas, you're in the absolute sweet spot. The government isn't cutting back on national security. They're not cutting back on technology, modernization. They're cutting back on redundancy, inefficiency, and commodity services. That's the critical distinction you need to understand. If you're providing commodity services that anyone can provide, administrative support, basic IT, general consulting, you're in a. But if you're offering specialized expertise in high priority areas, agencies are literally competing for contractors like you. Supply chain security, domestic manufacturing support, zero trust architecture implementation, quantum resistant cryptography, these are massive growth areas. The money is still flowing. It's just flowing to completely different places. But there's another advantage most contractors don't even know about: utilizing small business certifications strategically. This can still give you an unfair competitive advantage, but not in the same way as it has been. Under the Trump administration, there is a shift from set-asides to merit-based. If you have socioeconomic certifications, veteran-owned, woman-owned, hub zone, 8A disadvantaged business, there are growing opportunities, but very different from how you've seen it in the past. In previous years, contracting officers were seeking out certified small businesses to award contracts to meet set-aside goals. This is no longer a priority under the Trump administration. So how do you still leverage your small business certifications? Remember earlier we discussed consolidation and bundling of contracts? This means that the size of contracts are larger in scope and dollars. As a small business, you're most likely not qualified to bid on them. You lack the relevant past performances and the ability to scale to meet the needs of that project. So this means that you have to shift your strategies. Your goal now is not to be a prime, it's to work with large prime contractors. These larger companies need subcontractors. They still need to meet the SBA small business subcontracting goals by large primes. These large companies need qualified small businesses to help them perform on these larger projects. They need your small business as a teaming partner or as a subcontractor. They also need to report to the SBA how they met the goals of their small business program, meaning that they need to show how much work was subcontracted to veteran-owned, woman-owned, hub zone, 8A, and other disadvantaged businesses. The lone wolf contractor trying to do everything themselves. That business model is dying fast. The future is collaboration, strategic partnerships, and understanding your specific lane. And there's one more exit option nobody talks about publicly. Here's something most people don't know. There's serious merger and acquisition activity happening right now for strategic contractors. If you built something genuinely valuable, strong past performance, active contract vehicles, solid team, specialized capabilities in high demand areas, there are buyers actively looking for exactly what you have. Private equity is extremely active in the government contracting space. Large prime contractors are acquiring smaller firms to build capacity and capabilities they don't have in-house. Here's a look at the top 4 deals that recently happened. Cisco acquires Splunk, $28 billion, minor cybersecurity and data analytics. Boeing acquires Spirit AeroSystems, $4.7 billion, all-stock deal. AeroVironment acquires Blue Halo, $4.1 billion, all-stock deal. Miners Autonomous Platform, Space Tech, Electronic Warfare, CACI acquires Azure Summit Technology, $1.3 billion. Miners Sensor Systems, Signal Processing, Maritime Surveillance, Now, these are larger M&A deals. The smaller deals are happening as well. They just don't get the press because they're private exits with the owners wanting anonymity. This could be a legitimate exit strategy. If you're thinking about leaving the market, you don't have to just shut down and walk away with nothing. You might be able to sell what you built and capture real value for years of work. So yes, the opportunities are definitely there. The critical question is, are you actually positioned to take advantage of them? That's what we need to figure out together, because the answer isn't the same for everyone. What works for one contractor might be completely wrong for another. So let me give you the framework to figure out your specific answer. I call this the Contractor Survival Test. All right, here's how you figure out if you should stay or go. I call this the Contractor Survival Test. 5 questions that will tell you everything you need to know about your future in this market. I want you to ask yourself these 5 questions right now and be honest with yourself while I walk you through why each one matters. Don't answer them the way you wish things were. Answer them based on brutal reality, based on where your business actually is today, not where you hope it will be 6 months from now. Ready? Let's go through them. Question 1, the cash flow test. Can you survive 60 to 90 days without payment? Not will it be uncomfortable. Can you literally survive? Do you have enough cash reserves to make payroll, pay your rent, keep the lights on? Think about your answer right now. If the answer is no, you are in a critically vulnerable position. You either need to fix your cash reserves immediately or seriously consider whether this market is actually sustainable for you. This may mean cutting costs and laying off employees now, not later. Question 2, the compliance cost test. Will getting CMC certified or meeting new compliance requirements cost more than 10% of your annual revenue? Think about that number. If yes, you absolutely need to do the math. Is the return on that investment actually there, or are you just pouring money into compliance to stay in the game? I'm seeing contractors spend so much on compliance that it's eating up all their profit margin. That is not a sustainable business model long-term. Question 3, the competitive position test. Are you in a high-demand niche like AI, cybersecurity, or specialized defense work? Or are you in a commodity service that's getting consolidated? You need to be brutally honest here. Commodity services are where consolidation is hitting hardest. If you're providing something that dozens of other companies can provide just as well, you're competing purely on price, and that's a race to the bottom that you will lose. But if you're specialized, if you have truly unique capabilities, you've got real leverage. 2 more critical questions. Question 4, the relationship test. Do you have real, genuine relationships with prime contractors or contracting officers? Or are you just blindly bidding on opportunities from sam.gov? Because if you're just bidding without relationships, you are playing a losing game. Relationships are currency in this market. The contractors who are actually winning aren't just the ones with the best technical proposals. They're the ones who built trust over years of consistent performance. Question 5, the diversification test. Is government contracting 100% of your revenue? If yes, that is dangerous. Whether you stay or whether you go, you're exposed to every policy shift, every budget cut, every administration change, every shutdown. Diversification is not optional anymore. You need commercial clients. You need state and local government work. You need revenue streams that aren't dependent on federal appropriations. Because putting all your eggs in one basket, especially this basket in this environment, is just too risky. Stay tuned, because in an upcoming episode, I will share how you can diversify your business if you choose to stay. So based on those 5 questions, what's my personal answer? So here's my take, and I'm going to be completely blunt with you. I'm not leaving this market, but I'm also furious at contractors who are pretending everything's fine. 23% said they're not changing their strategy. Are you kidding me? That's like standing in a burning building saying, I'm sure the fire will just go out on its own. The market is fundamentally changing, and denial is not a strategy. The contractors who are going to thrive aren't the ones hoping things go back to normal. Normal is gone. It's not coming back. The ones who will succeed are adapting aggressively. They're expanding into new high-demand niche markets. They're building strategic partnerships. They're diversifying their revenue. They're watching administration priorities like hawks and aligning their offerings accordingly. So should you quit? Maybe. If you can't pass those 5 tests, if your cash flow is broken, if you're in a commodity service with zero differentiation, if you're hemorrhaging money just to stay compliant, then yes, maybe it is time to pivot. But if you're strategic and willing to adapt, here's what's actually possible. If you're strategic, if you're willing to adapt, if you can survive the volatility, there is still massive opportunity here. Let me show you something real. I've seen contractors pivot into cybersecurity and triple their revenue in 18 months. I've seen small businesses partner with primes and land contracts they never could have won alone. I've seen companies get their certifications and suddenly have access to subcontracting opportunities with larger primes. Just last month, I talked to a gentleman. 12 months ago, he was ready to quit, failed the cash flow test, commodity service, no certifications, no strategic partnerships. Today, 3 new contracts partnered with a major prime, revenue up 200%. What changed? He stopped playing the old game and started playing the new game. That's what I'm talking about. The game changed fundamentally, but the game is absolutely still winnable. The difference between contractors who make it and those who don't isn't luck. It's not even skill. It's adaptability. It's being willing to look at the market as it actually is, not as you wish it were. So here's exactly what you need to do next. All right, here's what I want you to do right now. If you're thinking about staying in the government contracting industry, watch my next video. It's called How to Diversify Beyond Government Contracting Without Losing Your Current Contracts. The biggest threat to your business isn't losing one contract, it's depending on only one type of customer. I just released a complete roadmap showing you exactly how to diversify beyond government contracting without abandoning your current contracts. You'll get the 4 diversification paths, a 90-day action plan, and real case studies of contractors who added millions in non-government revenue. Check the link in the description or click on the video that just popped up here, How to Diversify Beyond Government Contracting. Don't wait until a contract ends to figure this out. For those of you who are committed to the GovCon market, or those of you who are new but know that this is the right market for you, go grab my free course, the Quick Start course to winning government contracts right now at www.govcon.community. And here's what I want you to do in the comments right now. Type either staying or pivoting, just one word. Let's see where this community actually stands. If you're staying, type what niche you're in. If you're pivoting, type where you're headed. Let's build this together, because when you see how many people are in the same situation, you'll realize you're not alone. And if you know another contractor asking themselves the same question right now, send them this video. It might be the conversation that saves their business or gives them permission to pivot before it's too late. Look, here's the bottom line. Whether you stay or go, this is your decision, but make it an informed decision based on reality. Don't make it out of fear. Don't make it out of blind optimism. Make it based on where your business actually is and where this market is genuinely headed. Thanks for watching. Let's keep this conversation going. One last thing, if you've watched to this point, do me a favor and like the video, hit subscribe if you haven't already done that, and click on the notification bell. That would mean a lot to me. See you in the next episode.